How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. So today we're going to take a look at a small little product which I hope will fit on the desk here, which is also our first gigabyte or Aorus monitor here on the channel, which I'm also really excited for because it's a really nice all-arounder monitor that pretty much covers everything. Now, Gigabyte is also pretty new to the monitor game. They've actually done really well, delivering very nice products. But for South Africa, we've kind of been lacking a bit. They didn't really come here. The previous model of their range only came a while back, and this one is also now new to South Africa, although it has been out for a while. So I'm pretty excited to check it out because I have heard some really nice things on it. I'm going to do an unboxing and then a full review and all of that. So let's quickly see how it looks inside, see if I can actually do that here. Now, pricing wise, this monitor isn't going to be the cheapest. So currently it is retailing for around 15,000 Rand, which, yeah, it's not the cheapest. Like I said, you can actually get a 34-inch ultra wide running 100 hertz and all of that. So you do have a lot of options compared to this one. Now, dollars wise, they're going for around 450, which is actually quite a drop compared to, I believe, was $550 a while back. So it is quite a bit cheaper. Now, just quickly for the cables, we do have our USB pass-through cable there, a display port, and an HDMI cable for those. So you guys already know we're gonna have some USBs and all of that for the monitor. Let's see if I can get it out here. It's big. There we go. So we have our stand here. We have our on the other side. There you go. We have here the stand at our base, and you can see it's quite a bit different. Actually, the design that they went with is a very gamery. The stand actually has a handle, which is nice if you want to go to a LAN, which unfortunately you can't really do nowadays, but maybe one day. we'll hope. All right, so get our boomerang out. We got our evil villain mask up there, crown, and then we have our monitor. Now we can go over some of the specs for now. So this is a 27-inch flat, so not curved display. But what makes it really awesome, a few of the stats, it's a 165 hertz display, but also at a quad HD, so a 1440p or 2560 by 1440p. And also what I actually really like, it is a 10-bit panel. So it's going to have really nice colors, which for me is quite important as a content creator. Now, I don't do the best color grading or anything, but I do like a nice display. Like I do all of my editing on my Aero OLED 4K laptop. That's just a beaut. So this will be actually a nice addition to that. All right, so while we have it down here and it's still easy to see, you can quickly check out our I/O here at the bottom. So you do have your integrated power supply, which is always awesome. You do also have your Kensington lock over here. You do have a headphone and a microphone pass through. You do have two HDMI 2.0 ports, a DisplayPort version of 1.4, which does feature a high bitrate 3, which we'll talk about. You do have your USB hub with two USB ports that does also feature 5-volt 1.5 amps for charging, and then unfortunately no speakers. All right, so quickly with everything out of the way, let's install the stand and we can talk about it because it's also quite a bit interesting, because you'll see here on the stand where it actually connects to the monitor, there are some golden connectors here. So that is where all of the RGB actually comes from. So the stand, which I haven't really seen before, maybe on some monitors, but you actually get RGB on the stand as well, which I know it's not really needed, but it does look good from everything that I've seen. So the cool thing about the monitor also, which we'll quickly get behind here, is that it does also feature a VESA mount. So you don't need the stand necessarily. You can also mount it against your wall if you wanted to, but luckily it's a pretty cool stand. So all you need to do is connect it to the back, it clips in, and then also the stand, again, you don't really want to get rid of it because it does have a lot of adjustments. So it does have height adjustment of 130 millimeters up and down. It does have a swivel. It does also have a tilt. And then also you do have your 90 degrees of a pivot. So you do have your vertical if you want to read your stream chat on a very expensive monitor. Now, also great thing about the stand, it's very sturdy. So no threats of it actually going to fall over, and it's also pretty sturdy as well. Kind of a metal there to keep it nice in place. And then of course you do have your handle, but it's quite a heavy monitor. So there we go. All right, so you do have your cable pass through there to keep it nice and clean. And then we have our power, which we can see right there. We get it out of the way. How cool does that look? Now again, it's behind the monitor. You won't really see it depending on your setup, but it still looks pretty cool, and it does also work with pretty much all of your Gigabyte Fusion software products. So all of your keyboards, your RGB of your in your system, all of that, it works with everything. So now it's off, unfortunately. We're gonna get it on right again. So, all right, so I just quickly have it set up, and that's an ugly spider. I quickly just have it set up just to see actually how it looks, and it looks pretty good. Now, I'm gonna do all of my benchmarks and all of the details and everything after this, and then I'm gonna come back, but I just wanted to see actually how it looks, and then also just give you guys the rundown of the specs quickly, so we can get that out of the way. So again, it is a 27-inch IPS display. It's a LED IPS display, so you're getting pretty good colors, also a very good viewing angles, as you guys can see right there. But more importantly is the resolution and also the frame rate. So instead of just 1080p, which hopefully dies out, we do have a 2560 by 1440p at not 144 hertz, at 165 hertz. So that is quite a nice upgrade, especially for some of our new 3000 series GPUs, which hopefully you can get. So big thanks to them for providing me with a 3080. So that's going to help out quite a lot. For that's a snake for driving all of those frame rates. Now, along with all of that, it does feature a 1 millisecond gray-to-gray response at a time. It does feature a FreeSync, and then also it's a G-Sync compatible, so it's not full G-Sync, but it is certified by NVIDIA that it actually does work with G-Sync. So that's a good thing. Now, it does also feature an anti-glare coating, as you guys can see there across the snake and the turtle. And then it does also feature a flicker-free technology as well. So that is just a quick rundown of the specs. And then, of course, I'm going to go over into everything else and then listen to some amazing and natural scenery, 3 hours relaxing music. All right, so we're going to take a look at that. But just quickly, for some reason, the NVIDIA G-Sync sticker down here, it was full of stickers. That one is upside down. Not sure why, but that one is. So yeah. All right, so I'll check you guys in a couple of days, and it's going to be seconds for you. Let's go. Alrighty, so I am back after using the monitor for a couple of days, and I have to say, I'm pretty impressed, and I've actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I do love the 2560 by 1440p on 165 hertz. Just the higher resolution for me is such a must-have nowadays. 1080p just doesn't work anymore, so this is definitely the next step. Now, This monitor is a bit more expensive, so you are going to pay a bit more for that, but everything that you get is also really good. So I quickly want to go over some of my experiences so far, just to let you guys know the colors and so on. Now, the first thing that I want to mention is, unfortunately, I don't own a color calibrator or anything like that, so I couldn't test this model specifically, but I was able to find that some of the other reviewers was able to see a few different specifications. So for instance, Gigabyte rates the monitor at 350 nits, which is decently bright, but it does look a bit brighter, and some of the other reviewers got around 450 nits with their devices. So it is a bit brighter, and it does feature then HDR, but it's HDR for 400, which isn't really needed or useful. So that's not really something that you need to worry about. Now, next up, it does have a contrast ratio of 1000:1, which is pretty good. And out of the box, the colors is a bit on the bluer side, so it does have a bit more of a cooler tint to it. But luckily, again, thanks to some other reviewers, I was able to actually adjust it a bit to get it a bit more accurate. So out of the box, it does it's a bit oversaturated, where it does feature a delta E of 3.5, which is a bit high, but thanks to the calibrators, I'm able to sort that out a bit more. And again, some of the other reviewers was able to get it down to around 0.82, which is really good. So color wise, it's actually really nice. Now, it's not a pro grade color monitor, but for everything that I use it for, it was excellent. I was able to edit some of the videos and everything. I'm going to edit this video on it as well. So for me, that's perfect. It's going to be good enough for most people, and also for more professionals to a certain degree. And then also just for gaming, it looks so good. And again, with the resolution, it makes the quality of the image just so much better, and 165 hertz. Who can forget about that? Now, you do also get your backlight strobing mode, or Gigabyte rebranded it into aim stabilizer just to sound more gamery. But what that just does, it just sharpens up the image a bit more for the faster movement, where you can see usually some ghosting trails after some of the images. So with our UFO test, with the aim stabilizer on, you are able to see it quite a bit sharper, which was better for me personally. But there is also a drawback with that, because you can't use it with the adaptive sync enabled, and then also the brightness is actually locked. So you're not going to be able to adjust the brightness at all. So there are some drawbacks with that, but I think also overall, if you wanted to use adjust your brightness and then also have adaptive sync, the image stabilizer isn't really that needed. All right, so in conclusion, what's my thoughts on the Aorus FI27Q-P monitor? Well, for the price point, it is a bit up there, especially for here in South Africa. There are some other options, but for everything you get, and also just how it looks, the build quality, the RGB, again, which is not really needed for everybody, but just everything that you get, it's a really nice monitor. And now you do get some other options as well. You do get the non-P model, which doesn't feature a DisplayPort version 1.4. It's version 1.2, which you don't get the 10-bit at that 165 hertz, but you do also get the X model, which does feature 240 hertz. So there's a few different models, but this one sits nice in the middle there. And I think for most people, it's going to be a pretty good buy, especially if you want to have that 10-bit at that 165 hertz. Now then, as for some drawbacks, and for the monitor itself, I couldn't really find anything that's wrong. Maybe, again, the price is a bit up there, but we already talked about that. But nothing that's actually wrong with the monitor, and you pretty much get a lot of features. Now, we talked about the build quality and all of that, and then also the picture quality. But some of the other features, again, it's the OSD, the ANC built in, which possibly you might not use. A lot of the features you might not use, but you do have them and you can actually use them. For instance, I do like the on display features. I use them quite a bit. So for me, that's a really nice feature. And just some of the others, like the black stabilizer and so on, you do have a few that you can play around with and get what you actually want. Again, there's so many features that depending on your use case. So for me, this is pretty much a perfect gaming monitor for my use case. Editing our footage, and then also gaming at that higher refresh rate and also at that higher resolution, which I rather want compared to higher refresh rate, but you also get that. So it's just a nice all-rounder monitor, which I can definitely see myself actually using. So that's pretty much it for my look at our first Aorus Gigabyte gaming monitor for here on the channel, the FI27Q-P. So big shout out to Gigabyte for sending the monitor over for review. I really did enjoy my time with it. And if you guys want to get it for yourself, I will leave links in the video description where you can get it for here in South Africa and also on Amazon. But if you guys enjoyed this review, please like, share, subscribe, and comment like always. And I will check all of you next time. Cheers, guys.